everyone. You're welcome to Moment of Distinction with Caroline Alfred. Today, I'm going to be discussing the topic triggers of relationship crisis. Triggers of relationship crisis. Those things that can cause crisis in a relationship. Those things that can make a husband and a wife to separate. Now, one of the triggers of relationship crisis is relating with your ex. Relating with your ex. I remember back then in primary and secondary school, our mathematics teacher would always ask us to find x. A plus B plus C, this, that, find x. In reality, I've come to understand that finding of x's only exists during mathematics class. In relationships, x's are never found. In relationships, you are not expected to find your ex. A lot of times I hear people say, oh, there is nothing wrong in being friends with your ex, nothing will happen, this, that. But they end up doing things that were never imagined. As much as possible, if you have an ex who you probably cannot avoid, say the ex works in your company or he lives in your neighborhood or somehow he or she is close, you must tell that to your partner. This is because you ought to build trust. You ought to build trust. Your partner ought to trust you. Now, imagine a situation where somebody's ex works in the same office with him or her, and then genuinely he or she comes back home late, and the spouse begins to suspect that, oh, he or she is cheating, and gets to realize eventually that his ex, her ex, works in the same office. How do you expect such a person to feel? The person will jump into conclusion that the thing that happened in time past between the partner and the ex has started again. So as much as possible, avoid your ex. Ex is something that causes crisis in a relationship. I want to assure you that if you try as much as you can to avoid your ex, there are certain marital crises that may never occur in your home. The second trigger of relationship crisis is unhealthy comparison. Unhealthy comparison. The Bible says that those who compare themselves among themselves are foolish. They are not wise. Sometimes you see a man and he says, oh, I'm a better father. The woman says, I'm a better mother. The other one says, oh, I make the relationship work better than you. I earn more money than you. And they begin to compare unnecessarily. Marriage is meant for completion and not for competition. If you know that the relationship you have is something that will lead to marriage, you ought to understand that you are meant to complete and not to compete. Sometimes you see some women shout on their husbands, oh, can't you see Mr. Fish? Look at Mr. Fish. He's doing well for himself. He's got a new car. He's got his wife a new car. He's got a new mansion. And you begin to compare unnecessarily. You see a man telling his wife, oh, look at Mrs. Fish. See how she's looking. She's very hardworking. She's very submissive. She's this and she's that. Unhealthy comparison. And unknown to you, you are killing the ego of your spouse. You're trying to make your spouse or your partner feel like he or she is not worth it. That you prefer some other person. Unhealthy comparisons. You can constructively encourage. You can constructively encourage, oh, look, you are doing good, but I want you to do better. I want you to be better than the Mr. Fish. There is a way you put it tactically, and it doesn't amount to unhealthy comparison. Unhealthy comparison is indeed one of the triggers of relationship crisis. Another trigger of relationship crisis is lack of openness. Lack of openness. So some people build their relationships on lies, on deceit, on a lot of evil things. For crying out loud, why would you lie to your partner about your age? Some women want to get married, and because they feel that, oh, they are old, maybe they are 40 or 37, and they lie to the partner that, oh, they are 30, they are 27, reducing the age. And eventually, when the man finds out that the wife or the partner has lied, that marriage could be at the verge of crisis, at the verge of running into a crisis. You see some men too, on the other hand, they lie about their age. They want to be really older than the woman. They want to really be older. And they end up causing problems in their marriages. What about health challenges?
Some women have health challenges. Some men have health challenges. Some are HIV positive. Some have full-blown AIDS. Some are unable to conceive. For some men, you see them having issues with their sperm counts and all that. Some women have lost their wombs. Some, their genotype is SS. And they lie to the person they intend to spend the rest of their lives with. I mean, if the foundation be faulty, what can even the righteous do? Some persons lie about their academic qualifications. You see somebody who has not attended university, doesn't have a certificate, doesn't have a degree, lying that he or she is this and that. And when the partner finds out, of course, you just appear silly, you appear stupid before the person. That is wrong. That is wrong. The moment you have decided to get into a serious relationship that would lead to marriage, or you're already in marriage, you should learn to open up to your spouse. If you stopped in secondary school, tell the spouse. The spouse can even make sure, help you to advance in education. Some people lie about children they once had. Wow, that thing beats my imagination. You see some men, some women who probably had children outside wedlock, or maybe they have been married before, and they meet this new partner. What is wrong in letting the partner know that, look, you were once married, look, you once had a child, or you had children, and you let the partner be in the dark about this very vital information, and then the partner finds out much later, you think that partner will be happy? He or she will be very sad. He or she will be very pissed. He or she will be very annoyed. And this one lack of openness can cause a whole lot in a relationship or in a marriage. I want to advise you, those of you watching, if you know that you have things, you're already married, and there are things that you haven't told your spouse, please, I beg you, tell that spouse. It is better you are the one telling him or her than the person finding out for themselves, or the person finding out for himself or herself. It will cause a whole lot more damage than you telling your partner. So I want to believe that after watching this video, you will go to your partner, apologize, and if there are things you know that you haven't told that partner, you will tell that partner after seeing this video. Another trigger of relationship crisis is preferring the company of others to your spouse, to your partner. Sometimes I go for an occasion and I know that, look, these people are a couple. They come, they sit down, and the next second, the other partner is nowhere to be found. He has vanished. She has vanished. You see them discussing with friends, discussing with other people, other than the person they came with. Now, there is nothing wrong in, getting up to greet people you know, your acquaintances. But sometimes for a 3 hours event, you see people who came in as a couple, one has disappeared for the whole of the 3 hours, leaving the other partner alone. It is very wrong. It makes your partner feel emotionally traumatized. It makes them feel rejected. It makes them feel not loved. It makes them feel not welcome. Sometimes you see, oh, my girlfriends are calling me, and your partner wants you. Oh, my boyfriends are calling me, or I don't know how you say it, and you leave them and you just go your way, and you think you're doing a good thing. You are crashing that relationship. You make the partner feel lonely even when the person is married or in a relationship. That is one trigger of relationship crisis. It is wrong. Always love the company of your partner. If you go out, make sure most of the time you are together. Even if you want to talk to your friends, carry the partner along. Carry the partner along and don't make the partner feel rejected. If you do that, I know that your marriage will be sweet again. Another trigger of relationship crisis is when partners don't let sleeping dogs lie. Now, how do I mean? Sometimes, some partners want to throw the past of their other pair into their faces. Maybe you see a man who was once an armed robber, or who was once some miscreant, and the person has really changed for good, and you want to throw that into the person's face. Look at you. You were once an armed robber. You were once this, you were once that. You see a lady who probably was a prostitute, or who who didn't live a decent lifestyle, or who had one health challenge or another. And because the person loved you enough to tell you these things that happened in time past, you want to throw it into their faces. If not for me, would you have been this big? I picked you from the gutters. You were poor. Things like that can hurt the person. And the person begins to think, oh, how can I pay this one back? How can I do this? How can I retaliate? And before you know, your relationship is going down the drain. Look, let the past pass away. Things that happened in the past, let it pass away. If you must even remember the past, you should try to remember it in such a way that you would not repeat the same mistakes you once made. Or if you remember the past, you remember it in such a way that it will motivate you to do better. But not to begin to insult your spouse, or ridicule the spouse, or make your partner look stupid, or make the person look awkward and want to commit suicide. Sometimes people commit suicide when things they have done in time past are brought to their faces. So if you want your marriage to work, if you want your relationships to work, learn to allow sleeping dogs lie. Let sleeping dogs lie. Don't always bring, past sad, sorrowful experiences into the present. It can cause a lot of troubles in the home. Finally, another trigger of relationship crisis is when a partner is too secretive. Privacy syndrome. You can say privacy syndrome. A lot of times I hear people say that their phone is their personal property. Their partner is not allowed to touch the phone. You see a married man who is having his bath and his phone rings and his wife cannot pick it up to say, hello, my husband is not available right now. He will call you back, or I'll give him your message. You cannot see, some women will not just be busy and then allow their husbands pick their calls. And I'm beginning to ask, what for? If you know that you can't be open in a relationship, if you know that you will be secretive in a relationship, why then are you getting into that relationship? Why then are you getting into that marriage? From when you get married, the man and the wife become one. They have everything in common. They own everything in common. That's why you hear, oh, my wealth I give to you, my body belongs to you. Nothing, you have things in common. People say, oh, my phone is my private property. Why would it be private property? On our bodies, we have the parts we call private, and we cover them properly. But when you're married, your spouse has the right to see those private areas, the chest region and other parts that are private. So I keep asking, what could be more private than your private areas on your body? If your spouse can see those private areas, why can he not see your phone? Why can he not see your phone? To my mind, the moment you say, oh, my phone is my private property, I think you're actually saying that, look, I have the ability to cheat, or I'm going, in fact, not even ability, I am going to do it. The moment you say, oh, my phone is private, it means that there are things you either intend to do that are not right, or things you're already doing that are not right. Sometimes you see some men who have very big businesses, yet they are not carrying their partner along. The partner doesn't know anything about the business, doesn't know anything about the documentation, doesn't know anything about, the passwords, the pins, and every necessary detail. What happens if the man is not there? What happens if the woman is not there? Sometimes there's an emergency, maybe the man is ill or the woman is ill and they need some money to be withdrawn or something to be done urgently. And because the partner is not carried along, those things become impracticable. It is not ideal. If you know that you want to enjoy a very happy relationship, if you know that you want your marriage or relationship to go smoothly, then you must avoid privacy syndrome. You must avoid privacy syndrome. Know that you and your partner are one. From the moment you got married, both of you become one. So saying that, oh, this thing is private, your phone is private, your business is private, it would not make that relationship become as smooth as you want it to be. I want to encourage you viewers watching me. I want to encourage you. Put all these things I've mentioned into practice. Let sleeping dogs lie. Avoid unhealthy comparison. Run away from relating with your ex. Prefer the company of your spouse, of your partner. And when you do all these things, I want to assure you that your marriage, your relationship will experience bliss. There will be love, there will be joy, there will be no crack in your relationships. Thank you very much. Once again, I remain your host, Caroline Alfred. Keep watching Moments of Distinction. Thank you and God bless you.